Hi, ReadyAPI community. My name is Tatiana Iskovska, and I'm welcoming you in SmartBear Talks, where we're discussing exciting and trending topics with software testing experts. I'm sure that many of you have already watched the video interviews with the ReadyAPI product owner, with the customer care team, and many others team. If you have not watched those videos, I encourage that you watch them in the SmartBear community under the ReadyAPI tag. You will learn a lot about the SmartBear teams. And in this video, I would like to introduce one more important team that we have here at SmartBear. The team is working with new customers and making sure that they get started with the products very fast and get the benefits from its usage. So please meet Oleg Kodysh from the solutions team. Hi, Oleg. How are you today?
Good. I'm good, Tatiana. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thanks. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Let's start with a short introduction. I want the community members learn more about you. Where are you from, and how did you start your career?
I live in the Boston area, and I grew up here for most of my life. I came from my job before this was I worked at Google in the Cambridge office. And there I was doing developer relations, helping software developers onboard one of the Google products I was working on, which was Crashlytics. And yeah, I think because of a lot of my software development background, as well as having content creation experience, I was a good fit for ReadyAPI at SmartBear. So that's how I found myself here.
Yeah, and we're very happy that you're with us. And could you please explain what do you do at SmartBear?
Sure. So I am on the solutions team as a customer adoption engineer. And the product I work on right now is ReadyAPI Test, ReadyAPI Virtualization, and ReadyAPI Performance. And I help make sure that customers who use any of the ReadyAPI products are fully onboarded, that they understand how the products work, and I can answer any sort of questions, whether they're just general or technical on the product, and help bring back feedback to the team to make sure that we can make the best product possible for the customers.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. Helping customers is also very exciting. What is the most rewarding part of your work? What do you like to do the most?
I would say when I do meet customers with more interesting kind of esoteric use cases with the product in terms of like setting up environments that aren't super typical, and they have to do integrations with other systems, whether they're like proprietary or not. Finding kind of solutions for those use cases where we have to think outside the box a little bit, or having to bring that feedback to our own software team, be like, hey folks, like here's a use case that didn't quite fit for the customer, but let's work on a solution for them. And so kind of helping meet customers' needs in more interesting ways is, I would say, a really rewarding part of this job.
Okay, sounds great. And I'm sure that you are talking and working with the customers a lot. Can you recollect maybe the most interesting customer interactions that you had so far, or maybe the most interesting questions that you replied to?
Sure. I would say most recently, a customer I met with, she was trying to set up test engine and test complete into her like ReadyAPI wheelhouse, and like set up an environment where she can use those two other products in her functional testing with ReadyAPI. And those two other products I didn't have too much experience with, just because ReadyAPI has been my focus for a bit. And so I kind of had to learn those products as I worked with her, and help set up those like integrations into her environment, as well as setting up a Jenkins integration as well. So not to get too into the weeds, but it was something that I had to kind of teach myself as I was working with her. And so that was to me, that was rewarding for myself, and it was rewarding, I think, on her end as well, because we came up with a good solution, like a good flow for what she was trying to do with her functional testing. So to me, that was yeah, to me that was really fun, and it's an amazingly rewarding experience after all was said and done.
Okay, that's interesting. Learning the products like from scratch, and even in the, the short period of time, it's always a challenge. It's so great that you can achieve this. It's a great feeling. And as you mentioned several times, that like ReadyAPI is your like major products, right? And in this case, you got used to using ReadyAPI. Can you share like maybe why do you like ReadyAPI? What is the most interesting feature, maybe undocumented features that you know?
Sure. So, I mean, I like ReadyAPI just because I come from uh, an API background. Like, the a lot of what I've learned over the years has been with with working with APIs, specifically on mobile apps. But in this case, now I work with web apps and everything in between. And I mean, I think it's a fantastic product. Just working with it for almost a year now, and I think just the comprehensive testing that we have is really useful for a lot of customers. In terms of features that I could highlight, um, I think a lot of customers get a lot of value from the virtualization product and being able to use Vert servers in order to create kind of mock API testing. That's something that when I have talked about it with customers who weren't quite aware that we offered kind of mock API testing in terms of ReadyAPI virtualization, to them that's always like, whoa, like that's really cool that you can do this. And kind of the more more I got into ReadyAPI virtualization with customers, like the more they found it really like really good for their own use cases and how they want to set up their testing environment. So I would recommend kind of if you don't know much about ReadyAPI virtualization, setting up Vert servers to do any sort of mock testing on APIs, I recommend checking that out. I think that's a really useful feature that we offer with ReadyAPI. And a lot of customers don't even realize that they have virtualization licenses when they get like their whole ReadyAPI bundle. So I would say that's a bit of an underutilized feature that customers should definitely check out.
Okay, great. So I didn't know either that it's possible to use the virtualization in ReadyAPI. That's interesting. For the customers, for new users who just get started using ReadyAPI, what resources would you recommend them to read, or maybe how it is better to contact you so that you can help them get started with the product?
Sure. Um, I guess not to self promote myself too much, but one of my roles here, besides meeting with customers and doing weekly webinars for ReadyAPI, has been content creation. Um, and so I've been working on a getting started series. We already had one before I came for ReadyAPI functional testing. However, I helped develop one for performance and virtualization as well. And so those are two resources that we have been recommending customers to check out if they are kind of just getting into ReadyAPI. Where I made several videos that outline a lot of what you can do from like just a kind of beginning early testing, like setting up a testing environment, figuring out where all the buttons are, because there's a lot of buttons in ReadyAPI and a lot of things you can do, to kind of the more advanced features of you start integrating, you start doing CI/CD pipeline automation. So those getting started series are something I recommend, just because while I've been working on them, I work pretty hard on them, so I think they're a good resource personally. But other than that, our documentation I find is very comprehensive. always recommend our documentation. There's a lot of information on there, and it's very detailed. So if you have a question, it's most likely in our documentation. Our community is always fantastic. The SmartBear Academy is a great resource as well. We definitely have a lot of good resources. And if you have questions, always feel free to reach out to our support team. I personally use our support team. Sometimes I'll raise a support ticket on the behalf of our customers, and I get a response within, like less than an hour sometimes. So if you have questions, that's 100% a great way to get a quick response, and they usually answer the questions like very comprehensively. So that's a big recommendation for me.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for such a great list of SmartBear resources which new users can use to educate themselves. And thanks a lot for your time. I'm sure that our community members learn more about your team, the team where you're working, and you're personally. So thanks a lot for sharing this information with us. Thank you.
Of course, no problem, Tatiana. Anytime.